जी उठे नहीं, बैठे रहें। बेनती परवान करें, कोई बहन भाई उठे ना, कोई बहन भाई अपने स्थान से उठे ना, बैठे रहें आप। हजूर की मेहर दया जहाँ भी हम हैं वहाँ तक पहुँचती है। भावना जो अपनी है वो हजूर तक रखें, बख्शिश मिल रही है।
Hello everyone, welcome to today's satsang. I hope my computer will be okay this time and you can hear me. So we'll read the schedule now. We will start with a poem by Tina Dillon, Mirror Mirror. Then we have a talk by Michael, a talk by Dr. Chant. The topic is Redefining Love, Devotion and Seva. Then we will proceed to a short Dhyan session and we will watch Master's video on YouTube. And finally, we will meditate with devotion. Thank you so much.
Hi, beautiful family. This poem is dedicated to our beloved Ishwarji. This is with his blessings. And this poem is called Mirror, Mirror. Mirror, mirror, what will I see? Reflection, the mirror said. Reflection, reflection of what? I asked. Whatever you want to see. I only show what the person wants to see. That's it. Just what I want to see, nothing more, laughed the mirror and said, Depends. Depends? Depends on what? I asked. On you. What is it you would like it to reflect? The mirror said. I don't understand. I thought the mirror only shows the reflection. What else does it show? Reflection is outwardly, introspection is inwardly. What do you want to see? The mirror said again, I'm confused, mirror. I do not understand this reflection and introspection. The mirror smiled and patiently explained, reflection is what is outside, and introspection is reflection of inside. I'm scared of what I will see inside of me. Outside, I know what I look. I am all happy and I'm all pretty. Don't be afraid, my child, said the mirror. The mirror inside is a lot purer and clearer and very honest, reflecting exactly what is. Close your eyes, my child, and see deeply within. Let the light inside guide you to the purest mirror, hidden under so much dirt of many, many lives lived before. I am there, I think. I see the mirror. No, the mirror showed itself to me. But wait, it's not a mirror. There are two eyes that are staring back at me. I know them. I remembered them. They are beautiful. Oh, so beautiful. Who do they belong to? I try to look deep in them, trying with mind to find answers. But I see the eyes smile. Yes, the eyes smile. And I hear a voice. I am you. You are me, they say. I stare deeply, deeply, oh, so deeply and quietly into the depths of those beautiful eyes. I see the reflection. It's me in them. And then the I changes to the beloved. It's him. It's him. It's always been him. The true mirror reflected the truth. There is only one. There has always been the one. The outside mirror was right. The real mirror was inside. The truth was inside. The beloved was inside. On the mirror, mirror of those eyes. Thank you.
God morning, my dear holy family. Welcome to the Assembly of Admiration. Satsang is the Assembly of Admiration, where we admire our cheerful charmer, the perfect one, Ishwar Puri Ji, and our holy masters. I wanted to have a special thanks for my sister Tina for her beautiful poem. It's very, very beautiful poem, and I loved it. And Tina, she's from my holy family, my sister from Sant Singh. So we have the same holy fathers, Sant Singh and Ishwar Puri Ji. That it's just a special connection when you meet someone who is connected with your original master that came to Ishwar Puri Ji. There is a special feeling there, a special connection. And I have beautiful memories with Tina and her family, where we all went to New Zealand and was with Ishwar Puri Ji. And that time was a time of floods of grace, floods of blessings that came from Father God, from Master, from Baba Sawan Singh on all of us. And those memories will stay with me forever. And especially, there is a good memory when Tina cooked for us delicious, delicious Indian food, and I couldn't stop eating. It was cooked with love. It was prashad, and it was so good. So thank you, my dear sister Tina, for all the love and the beautiful poem. So my holy family, here we go again. And just like Tina spoke in her poem, it's about a mirror that our outer life is a reflection of our inner life. The outer life is only a reflection of our inner life. And if Master is happy with us, if he is looking at us with happiness from within, then our outside life will also become pure happiness, pure joy, and pure bliss. That it is all about our inner self. If we correct our inner self, if we improve our inner self, if we spend time with our higher self in the form of meditation, then it will set our outer life. It's all a reflection. The outer is only a reflection of the inner. And all what we have to do is polish the inside, polish our mirror inside. And once our mirror is polished inside, then what happens? The face of the beloved will appear. And when the face of the beloved appears, then drunkenness in God is there. We become, our cup will become full, and we will become drunk in God. As Rumi says, I have broken so many ties, freed myself from so many bonds. Oh, my smiling beauty, go easy, I am drunk. That's what Rumi says, that when we polish our inner mirror, and when we have so much yearning for Master, for the kingdom of God, for oneness, what happens then? Just like I said yesterday, when we yearn for Master, Master is yearning for us a million times more. So when we are yearning to be with Him 24/7, what does He do? He starts to cut our bonds that cause suffering, all our ties, all our connection that take us the other way, the suffering way. He starts cleaning them one by one. The more we desire God, the more yearning we have for the inner Master, the more yearning we have for the kingdom of God, then the faster Master works on us. Just like a mirror, it's a reflection. His work is a reflection of our inner yearning. How much we want inside is how much we get outside, and what will we see outside slowly, slowly, slowly. As in the Holy Bible, it says that that the Master comes with a sword. He comes with a sword and he cuts all the suffering ties, all the unnecessary bonds of this life. He cuts them out, and then what happens? We are left ultimately at the end with the beloved. We are left with the beloved and with our holy family. As anybody that takes us towards God, towards the kingdom of God, is is kept by the Master. And everybody that takes us the other way, those ties, those bonds are eliminated. Slowly, 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 He cleans out the weeds of our life, the weeds that cause us misery, suffering, and depression. He takes them out slowly, slowly, slowly. And then ultimately, we find ourselves just with Master. And when we find ourselves just with Master, then that's the time of drunkenness in God. That's the time of pure joy and pure ecstasy. One time, when I was in New Zealand, I asked Ishwar Puri Ji about the godly drugs. I asked him about the godly drugs if I will get them, and his answer to me was absolutely. So, so when Master says absolutely, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and there will be a time in my spiritual development where it will be all bliss, all ecstasy, and all drunkenness. I feel it coming. I feel it coming. I feel I feel the bliss coming towards me, and I'm sure it's also coming towards you, as we are all connected. We are all one from inside, and all of us sitting here in this assembly of admiration where we sit together to admire our perfect one, our cheerful charmer. Then we are all, as Dr. Chand said, we are all such kandis over here. We're all such kandis. That means if I feel blessing being poured on me, the same blessing is being poured on my holy family. It is all the same. It is all the same. It is all the same wine that has been given to us. It's all the same wine. And that wine is the wine of the ancient one, the wine that takes us to God and to the kingdom of God. In yesterday's satsang, Master was talking about the power of attention, the power of attention. And I thought it was a very, 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 the power of listening and the power of attention. And I thought that was a very, very, very powerful, important satsang. And it's good to even listen to it again. It's about the secret of the path and how when masters give us the holy names, how we should repeat those holy names with love, devotion, and with complete attention, and to listen to what our mind repeats. Otherwise, what will happen? There is a story of Sant Ajayab Singh, and he was saying how he was repeating the verses from the Granth Sahib, from the Adi Granth. He was repeating every day verses from the Adi Granth, and he could see that in the first minute or two his attention was there, but then he's just repeating, his tongue is repeating, but his mind is somewhere else. His mind is somewhere else. And then when he met his first master, Baba Bishendas, Baba Bishendas told him, okay, it's good you are repeating the verses from the holy Adi Granth, but where is your mind? He told him, where is your mind? Is your mind in full attention on the words you are repeating, or is it somewhere else? And then he pondered for a little bit, and he could see that his mind was somewhere else. And then he was taught to put full attention, to try to listen to the words, to try to listen to the holy words of Simran that Master gave it to us. Um, 1 second, somebody has to. Okay. Oh, the holy words of Simran that the Master gives to us. That these holy words, even though we do not know their meaning, even though that we do not know their meaning, as they are the names of the lords of the five regions, that only when we pass those five regions, then, and we meet those powers, then we get to know the meaning of those words. We get to know the meaning of those words when we pass, as the saints say, when we pass those regions, and every region resembles one power, the power that rules the astral, the power that rules the causal, the power that rules the super causal, the fourth plane, and then ultimately the power that rules the kingdom of God, such Kant. So Sant Ajayab was saying in his satsang that when we pass all these regions, then we get to know. And he was giving it the example like there are many countries, America, Australia, New Zealand, and we could keep repeating America, but we don't know what America is unless we go to America and we visit America. And once we visit America, then we can see America and we can know what's inside America, and then we can know it 100%. And the same thing is the words of Simran. Once we reach those regions and surpass those regions, then we get to know, we get to meet those powers inside of us, and we get to know everything about those names, what they mean. But the most important thing is that we keep repeating those names with full attention, as the attention is the most important thing, that we listen to what the mind repeats. When we listen to what the mind repeats, it becomes a successful, whether it is outside, whether we're walking outside and we're repeating Simran and we're listening to what we're repeating, or we're sitting inside, we're repeating Simran and we're putting the full attention on the Simran and listening to the Simran, then what happens? The mind stops wandering. The mind stops wandering, and then we can have a successful meditation. We won't fall asleep. We won't fall asleep. As when we sometimes we are meditating and then we start to fall asleep. If we watch our mind, it has lost either repeating Simran or listening to the words that are repeating. So I'm just saying this again because I'm also teaching myself. I'm also trying to watch myself when I meditate, to keep my attention here at the third eye center with listening. As Ishwar Puri Ji says, the mind speaks and the soul listens. The soul is the listener. So in order to withdraw from the body, our soul has to listen to those words. So this is the power. That's how the Simran becomes more powerful. And repeating the holy names of God, what happens to us? There is two powers in this world. Two powers. One is the negative power, and one is the God power, the Lord power, the positive power. When we keep repeating the Simran of God, what you think, so shall you become. What you think, so shall you become is very, very, very powerful. That let's get possessed by God. Why get possessed by the other power? There are many people who are possessed in this world. There are many people who are possessed in this world by the other power. That if we keep our mind loose, if we do not do Simran, if we don't think of Master, if we don't think of God, automatically the other power is there. And when the other power is there, then it keeps adding itself to us. And ultimately, we will become fully possessed, as this human body is like a vehicle. It's like a vehicle. It has the mind and it has the soul. We could let the mind drive the vehicle, or we could let the soul drive the vehicle. If we let our soul drive the vehicle, then it is connected with Simran, it is connected with God, it's connected with its original source, and then it keeps adding the original source. And if we stop Simran, stop thinking of Master, and stop our connection, our higher connection with our soul, then the other power is automatically there and it possesses us. So better be possessed by the power, by the positive power that is only bliss, ecstasy, and enjoyment than the other power that only. Why is it called the negative power? It is called the negative power because negative includes suffering, includes depression, includes misery, and includes everything that is opposite of God. That is what is the negative power. So that is what Masters frees us from. He frees us from the tangles, from the bonds, from the ties of the negative power that only cause depression and suffering to us. That slowly, 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 he cuts all the weeds and he just breaks our ties and breaks our bonds that cause suffering, and then we find ourselves just with Master. Uh, uh, um, Hafiz, in his poetry, said, asked his master, he said, Master, what's the difference between you and me? And then his master, Attar, replied to him, and he said, well, if there is a herd of buffaloes that were passing here, and we both have a begging bowl, and if they just knock our begging bowls, nothing will pour out of yours, but something will pour out of mine that will drown this whole wild world. That's the difference between us and the perfect master. The perfect master has everything in his cup. And the more we have trust in that power, the more we develop our that love and devotion and the full trust in the master, the more we will gain. And the more he will do for us. There is a story of Sheikh Farid. Sheikh Farid had a very, very, very devoted disciple. Very devoted disciple. This disciple was so in love with Sheikh Farid, he will do anything, whatever the master orders him, he will do. As he used to always go to town, there was a prostitute there, and that prostitute was always trying to attract him. She was always, and he will just ignore her and keep going to his master. But she will always keep trying hard and hard and hard to attract his attention. One day, Sheikh Farid, at that time, to keep the fire going, they used to put hot coals on the fire and then ashes. And they ran out of hot coals. So Sheikh Farid asked his disciple, please go and get hot coals. He went and he looked all over, and he could not find hot coals. Now he had to satisfy the order of his master. So he went by the house of the prostitute and saw her smoking a hookah. She was smoking a hookah and sitting on the balcony. And since he saw the hot coals with her, he went to her house. And when she saw him, she was like, oh, he's here. He's here. And she asked him, what do you want? What do you want? And he said, I want hot coals. I want hot coals for my master. And then she got angry when he just asked for coals and not for her. So she told him, well, those hot coals have a very high price because I'm the only one now that has these hot coals, and they have a very, very high price. And he asked, what's the price of these coals? And she said, your eyes. And when she said your eyes, He took her literally, and he just like, oh, the story gets a little bit gory, and he took his eyes out for her to get the coals for his master. Sorry. and then and then he, it was so painful and he couldn't see, and she was gasping that he took her literally. She could not believe that he took her literally, and he did that. So he put a bandage around his eyes, and his eyes were very painful, and he took the coals to Sheikh Farid. He took the coals to Sheikh Farid, and Sheikh Farid said, "Oh, good, you got the coals, but what's that on your eye? Why do you have a bandage?" And he said, "My master, my eyes are very painful. My eyes are very painful. That's why I have a bandage." And then Sheikh Farid told him, "Take the bandage out." Then he took the bandage out, and lo and behold, his eyes were restored. His eyes were restored to their original form. And Sheikh Farid smiled and said, "The master is omnipresent and omniscient. Omniscient. He's omnipresent. He knows everything." And he did that miracle, and he restored his eyes. That the master can do miracles for his disciple. The more we have faith in the master, the more miracles happen. I swear, I know a real story. I know a real story of my brother. His name is Hitesh, and he's my brother from St. Pancras. Not this Hitesh, another Hitesh. And I probably said that story to you before, but it's a true story. And one person, he was taunting Sant Mat, his master, and he said, "Well, if your master is true, then drink this." There was a bottle of detergent or something like that, like a detergent, like either chlorine or Dettol or something. I forgot what it was. He said, "If your master is perfect and if your master is gonna protect you, drink this." Now, don't repeat this. Don't repeat this story. Don't do what this story says. But this guy Hitesh, he just thought of Sant Singh and he drank that. Nothing happened to him. When Master saw him again, he rebuked him and he said, "Do not ever do that again. Do not do that again." But that's a miracle story to show us what Master can do for us. That the more we have trust in the Master, the more he will arrange for us. That there are two arrangements of this world. There is the negative arrangement for us, that we can go to doctors, we can go to lawyers, we can go to all types of people that can help us, but we also have our inner master. We also have our inner master. If we depend on our inner master and we have full trust on our inner master, he will act as everything. He will act as our doctor, he will act as our teacher, he will act as our lawyer, he will do everything for us. It is only the level of trust, the level of love. As I told you, these stories, the story of this Sheikh Farid's story. Sheikh Farid's story, as I told you, Sheikh Farid's story, it's a story of devotion, of love. How the feats of love, and how some disciples are so in love with their master. They are so in love with their master, and they have full trust in their master, full love and full devotion, that master does everything for them. He does all types of miracles for them. They only depend on that power. They don't go to any other power. They don't go to any other power. They depend on their inner master, and their inner master does everything for them. It is the matter of trust and the love and devotion. The more we grow and we have full trust in Master, He will arrange everything in this world. He will arrange everything in this world for us. We will not need to look somewhere else. I am like that. I have full trust in my Master. He is my doctor. He is my everything. He is my everything. I will not go and get help from somewhere else. I only ask my inner Master, and my inner Master has proved to me in the past. There are so many stories in my life. And one time I had, it was after meditation. We had satsang in my place. At that time, it was not virtual, and people could come to my place, and I used to cook for them. We used to eat. We used to watch 1 hour of Santakar Singh and then 1 hour of meditation. After the meditation, I had like a severe pain. It was like 10 out of 10, if you want to put the scale, in the side of my stomach. And I called my brother. He's a doctor, and he's like, "Oh, with this type of pain, emergency room right away. Go to the hospital right away." And I'm like, I'm not going to the hospital. I'm just gonna sit in meditation and ask my master to take care of this problem. And then I closed my eyes and I sat in meditation, and in 5 minutes, that pain was gone. It's all about the trust in the inner master. That the inner master is the Shabd power. The inner master is the Shabd power that created this whole creation. And if he created this whole creation, he can also fix this whole creation. If there's something wrong with you, he can also fix it right away, as he is the doer power. He's the Alpha, he's the Omega, and he is in between. That the Shabd is everything. It is all in all. It is that power of, in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the beginning was the Word, that Word that created everything, that Shabd, that Nod, that power of God. It created everything, and it can do everything for us. The only thing, we have to just develop that love, develop that devotion, and hold hands with our beloved master. Okay, this is my introduction for today. Thank you, master, for the seva, and forgive me for all what is lacking in me. And I welcome my very dear brother, Dr. Chand.
Okay, thank you very much. Michael, you set the stage as usual, you know, that's wonderful. So we've been talking about love. And love is the only thing which can really take us back. So I will be giving you small points, you know, because today's subject is redefining love, devotion, and seva. So this is what is the subject today. So I have to say that the love, as I understand from the subject psychology, because the Western scholars developed the subject psychology, and what they did, since they never had the Sant Mat with them, rather they were not having this knowledge of spirituality that way. So what they did, they worked on mind and body. So the love was explained at the level of the mind in the form of lust, and at the level of the body as sex. So the total psychology subject which is being taught all over the world, and the whole world has gone into that particular aspect, that this particular area of understanding love has been very differently taken up. It has taken a different stride altogether everywhere. Now we have to, rather through spirituality, you got to understand that love. And that's why we have to redefine the love. And love is caring. As you can see that the mother's love explains you that so nicely. And today I had sent a special ghazal from Darshan Singh Ji Maharaj, on which I was trying to explain something. But anyhow, this has not been translated into English. So my friends may not understand this part. But then little bit I'll like to explain that. First of all, let me explain this part, that how we define love and devotion. Love is because earlier also I talked about love, that Lord was one and alone, and in the beginning, when there was no creation at all. So this timeless being, in its radiant form, it was enjoying in bliss. Now you see, in that bliss, he felt like loving. And to whom he will love, he was all alone. There was nobody else. So he became, in this stride of bliss, once he felt like loving, the being of light vibrated and the sound emerged, and he became from one to many. Because in that ecstasy, once you are in love, some of you might have felt that part, that there is a vibration within you, even at the physical level, if you are in real love and understanding those ecstasies of love, then that being of light vibrated and the sound emerged and it became from one to many. So our essence is love. And as earlier also I said that all of us keep on searching for that love which we've been getting from him because he was loving us. And our part is to devote ourselves for that love so that we can get it. So that's how love and devotion comes in. So once he been loving us, we have got that essence of love. And we are searching for this love. Where we are searching? In this time-bound material creation. Yesterday, Michael talked about, the local truth. We have to leave this local truth and rise above. I would like to say, even the local love, what we call love, which has been explained by the psychologists like lust and sex, we got to rise above than this. And rising above is an area, because this is local love. Ultimate love, it is not that. As I say, the local truth, something similar. That ultimate truth is that. So that particular field remains within us, and we've been searching it. And once we decided to come, that we acquired the mind from the universal mind, and we could see tremendous amount of probabilities, possibilities, and that attracted us. And after that attracted us, we created that causal mind and the causal body, as I always explain. So we have acquired the mind and then made our plan, to come here and to feel the creation. So that's how, to feel this creation, we developed a sketch of all those senses, seeing, listening, smelling, tasting, touching. So this is how we thought that we will be developing this, refined it further into astral mind and astral body, and then created this physical body and reached the crown of creation, the human body. As I always say, that this is how we did. Now in the human body, we thought we are a body only. From the apes, we became humans, and we could feel that. We could see that we are a body. And then for this body, we've been busy managing the needs of the body, which are hunger, clothes, housing, vanities of the world, sex and sleep. So we've been robbing people, the other tribes, we were all fighting. We will go and pick up their women and, loot them, do robberies and all. And that's how the humanity started growing further. But in this race, the love was always lost, We could hardly get that because we got involved here. And we've been feeling that feel of love was not there. We were not getting in these things, which are temporary. Because here in the physical body and the physical mind, whatever is here is so temporary. It's not sustainable at all. Now, once you start looking into this, that how we can really understand love, In the modern times, I told you that psychology people did this. Now, Kabir talks about it. What he's saying, ढाई आखर प्रेम के पढ़े सो पंडित होए, means those 4-letter word love. If somebody understands that, he becomes enlightened, because there is a chain that how you really started flowing. You've been getting that love, and now you are deprived of it. And you've been searching it here in the physical body and its mind. All those attributes of the physical mind and physical body are temporary. You can't have those pleasures permanently. Whereas, once you were with him, you were having that love all the time. You were love lord. So later on, you had come here, as today Michael was also mentioning, that the soul has got 2 attributes. One is listening, the other one is seeing. All other senses, they remain here at the other levels, like astral level, where you have rather developed all those sensory perceptions, which Ishwar Puriji explains it, that these sensory perceptions, and in the physical mind and physical body, you have got those instruments. You know, eyes, ears, nose, and these are all instruments, but the sensory perceptions are there only. So all other senses are devoid if we go up. Only 2 of them are there, seeing and listening. Listening to that Shabad, which really resounds and puts you into that, into that chasni of prem, of what we call, that whenever we make certain sweets, we dip them into a syrup of sugar, and they get entrenched, they get, it is completely, the sugar syrup gets into that sweet, whatever you make, we call it as rasagulla. And this is how the love was there with us, and we were like that all the time, feeling about it. Now, to do this, something, you got to understand this part, that how these 3, body, mind, and soul, at all those levels, if they are in love, only then things will happen. And all those problems of this world will not bother you, because in love, all the senses are nullified. They don't work, except one, which is love. And now understanding love, that how it really covers you up, as you see that the mother is looking after that child, and that's what is love, that is what is caring. Now this caring has to be there. Now each living entity, what I could see, especially in the plant life, I could see that out of love, they are caring for others. If there are so many wheats or mangoes on a tree, the tree does not eat that. It is for others to enjoy. So it is a service. It is caring for others. That is the nature. And all that plant life and all those lives, they've been serving each other. And basically, the sex is to procreate, because God became from one to many. And procreation is a part where the sex is involved, and we procreate children, and then the mother looks after those children. Now, this is what it is, only to develop those children to whom we got to look after. It is not that we start developing pleasures into it and keep on producing children. That's what been happening. So because we started looking for those temporary pleasures there, and that's how something very different happened in this world. Because the inner love Rather, it gives you that understanding to procreate, of course, but then that child should have all that, all that material of love. So he should be a loving person in his life, because till the time you are not in love, you cannot go back. You suffer here because we are searching love somewhere in these temporary things which we can't get. Love is caring, and he been caring for you. Can you imagine that how Lord been caring for you? He helped you because the soul, which is connected to its source, has acquired the mind and created the body. You are connected. All the time he gives you that feedback through intuitions, as Ishwar Puriji explains about intuitions. So intuitions come, and we've been managing things, Let us face as it comes is an inherent quality of the soul. So it could manage all those areas, and it kept on developing. It has got state-of-art planning ability, its execution ability. These are all attributes of the divine soul, and it is only possible once you are in love. And drenched in that love, you kept on developing, and with his grace, with his help, we could create this crown of creation, the human body. And our job was to bring that love to this world and to make this world as a heaven by bringing this love and, distributing that love, that care for the whole humanity, for each and every life, That's how we started from there. But as we came here, we kept on involving ourselves into these local pleasures. And that's how we've been searching for love, and we did not get it. Now, this is what is an area that how we can really develop this part. And I have made some points, as the other day, the Michael was talking about that $100 bill, that it was just lying there. The fellow picked it up, and by fault, it fell somewhere. And later on, once he checked that it was not there, so that local enjoyment he was getting when he picked up the $100 bill, and once he found that it is not there with him, he started crying, So this is how a beautiful satsangs take place here, and they make you understand that how this love has to be there. So now I go to the next step, that how you can love yourself. Very important, because in your body, you have got 100 trillion cells, and there are different, all different organs of your body. So I met a very good person here. His name is also Rohit. And this gentleman was explaining that how to love your own self. He says if somebody is sick, his kidney is not functioning properly. Now, what I will suggest, that he should put his hands over that location and he should tell, "Oh, kidney, I love you." That kind of a feeling, to give to his own kidney if he has got a heart problem or any other problem. He touches those portions of his body and starts healing with his own love. Because I love this part of my body. Because you are total, you have got all those organs, 100 trillion cells are there. So if you start loving yourself, something wonderful will happen, that it will keep you healthy. Loving yourself is caring for all your things. While eating certain bad things, this caring habit will come in front, that if you eat this oily food or the fried ones or the junk food is going to spoil some of your components. So that feeling of love for yourself will keep you healthier. At the same time, you got to love your own things, especially the kind of things the mind thinks, Now, loving that mind, as my mother tells me, that this mind, you got to make him a friend. Otherwise, as Ishwar Puriji been telling that day, that he loved a specific kind of a pizza. And the mind is repeating that pizza. And as he decided not to have that pizza thought is coming time and again. So my mother tells that, okay, make your mind as friendly. So if you want to give him a taste of pizza, okay, come on, let us have this pizza, but with love. You explain this mind that this is not to, this will not be good for your health. So gradually you can take care of that. And you got to make him a friend. As there was a story, that a woodcutter will every day go to the forest, cut the woods, will come back and sell it in the market here. But whenever he will go and come back, there used to be a sweet maker on the way. So in India, there is a sweet like jalebi, we call it, which is drenched into syrup, and it is full with all that good taste, It is quite crispy also. So this is how this fellow will see that, and every day his mind will go towards that sweet, jalebi. He will look at that. And whenever he will go and sit in meditation, the thoughts of this sweet thing will come to him every time. But then he decided how to deal with it. So the next morning he went earlier to the forest, had lots of loads of wood he brought and sold it in the market, and he got better amount of money. And with all that money, he took all those sweets, a huge big quantity of sweets he took it home, started eating. And he's telling his mind, come on, man, now you eat this. He's eating and eating and eating. Now the mind is full, the stomach is full, and he doesn't like it anymore, but he's stressing more onto the mind and keeps on eating till the time he starts vomiting. His total system, the body is feeling, the mind is feeling, and he's really bothered about it. But he still says, come on, eat more. You've been disturbing me in my meditation. So this is how that he dealt with his mind, and fed him with all that. But not that. I would like to say that one has to be little rational, and he should understand all this. Make the mind understand this. Because this is a matter of understanding that how the mind should help you to remain in love, and that love is caring for everyone, all around you, all the time. You have to think about that. Say, for example, if you are having a gun with you for a target, what really happens? Your eye, and that's little, that marker there through which you see through, and then you see your target. So your eye, your marker, and the object, if they are all in one line, only then you can hit the target. So here, what I would like to say, the body has to be in love. The mind has to be in love. And then soul is already love. That's what is your target. So understanding that how you can really keep everything in love is a basic area. Now, as I told you that loving your own components of your body, how you can really do that. So Basically, if you understand that your attention is a single sensor of all the senses, that's what is something very important to understand, that attention is like an omniscanner. Creation is an intelligent design. Even a blade of grass is intelligently designed. So your attention, which is full of love, because it is like an omniscanner. If you wish, you can spread that love everywhere. Now, the poetry which I was very keen to talk about, and I wanted that they should have done the translation for you. This has been sung by a very prominent singer from Pakistan. Now he says, रहे इश्क की इंतहा चाहता हूं, जुनू सा कोई रहनुमा चाहता हूं. He says it should be the highest state of love. रहे इश्क की इंतहा चाहता हूं, the last things of the love, you know. Love is, what is that? It is merging. It is merging with the lover and beloved should be together. So he says that रहे इश्क की इंतहा चाहता हूं, जुनू सा कोई. Junu means a revolutionary master who can really make you feel that you have to work on that love. And I will request that somebody should translate this poetry, because Prem Palji were to do Sarah told me that Prem Palji may do the translation of this poetry. And I was very keen that this needs to be understood so nicely, because Darshan Singh Ji Maharaj, son of Kripal Singh Ji, wrote this poetry because he was Adib-e Fazil. Adib-e Fazil is the highest honor as a PhD in Urdu, because he been writing beautiful poetry. There is no other poetry better than him all over the world. So even he been writing certain things much better than Rumi also. So I would like to suggest that this particular poetry, which I have already sent, you know, it is something wonderful. I was thinking that somebody will play this today and everybody will listen to this beautiful thing, you know. Now in the next lines, he says, जो इरफान की जिंदगी को बढ़ा दे, मैं वो वादे जां फिजा चाहता हूं. I want that my beloved, his life should go ahead. But in the next line he says, मिटाकर मुझे आप में जज्ब कर ले. He says that he should finish me and I should be absorbed into that. I should be absorbed into that. Such a beautiful line. मिटाकर मुझे आप में जज्ब कर ले, बाद के लिए मैं बदा के लिए मैं फना चाहता हूं. You know, he wants to finish this and want to merge into that. So this is what is the desire of the lover, that he wants to get merged into that. So now, sorry, it is the beloved. Lover is he. He loves you. He loves you. And we've been getting, as we call it, devotion, means we got to devote ourselves to that love. And we fully surrender. And then what really happens? We enjoy, because he is loving us. He will take care of each and everything of our life. This is what is love. Now, once we devote ourselves to him, means we surrender. Now, he knows how to deal with this, so that he can give us all those pleasures of life which are permanent. And this is what is love. And if he loves you, as Michael also mentioned that day, that this is how he looks for you. He does each and everything for his beloved, because he wants to make you comfortable here. And if you keep on remembering him and keep that cord, that attention straight flowing through your mind, because the attention which is crossing through your mind, which is past and future information, then it passes through your body. All the senses of the body goes downwards and outwards into the world. Now say, for example, this omni scanner, which is love, pure love, if it starts flowing from your mind, so nothing you will think about anything else. Lust, anger, ego, attachment, deceit, fears, and worries are gone. Because the love is flowing from your mind, and then it is flowing through your body, 100 trillion cells. Then it is further flowing from your senses of your body. If you look at someone through these senses, say for example, eyes. So your eyes will be love lore. You know, all your actions, behaviors will be with love. And that is what Mastana ji been doing. You know, his name was Mastana because he's all the time must in that love. All the saints have experienced this love. So, and practically, devotion means you devote yourself, and he is the love. And then in love, what is there? It is only seva, I tell you, nothing else. It is seva for all those things, you know, whatever you are doing here. Now in this, some of the lines, you know, हाले दिल मैं करूं क्यों जुबां से, and then खुदा जानता है मैं क्या चाहता हूं. He says, I don't want to even use my lips to utter anything because he knows all what I need. I want to merge in him. रहे इश्क की इंतहा चाहता हूं, जुनू सा कोई रहनुमा चाहता हूं. He should be a revolutionary one who motivates me to love. So I think this is what, and then the God knows what he needs. Another two lines are there. मेरे चारागर मैं हूं बीमार तेरा. He says, I am sick for you because I'm suffering. I want to be loved. And because he's been loving us. So we are all wanting to be loved, my dear. Please, we can't love anyone, but what we want to be loved. Please, you will, if you touch yourself, you will know that you want to be loved. You are not capable of loving. He's the capable one who loves us. So once he's loving, we want that somebody should love us. And he should devote his things to us. This is what is an area to understand, that he is loving us and we got to just surrender ourselves. Devote. This is what is devotion. And devotion is seva. And this is how it is. Now he says, मेरे चारागर मैं हूं बीमार तेरा, तेरे हाथ से ही शफा चाहता हूं. He says, I am sick, and my medicine is you. Only you can give me that medicine, nobody else. So there are no other attributes except that love which you get from him. So I think I have, few things. One thing which was very important, I would like to tell you that today, Michael was telling that I was telling that we are all Sachkhandians. We all belong to Sachkhand. But actually this word had come from Neil from Canada. I was writing him, Neil, Canadian. So, but then he responded, he said, no, we are Sachkhandians. We are not Canadians, we are Sachkhandians. So basically, I wanted to really appreciate him that Neil gave this word of Sachkhandians. So we are all, actually, we are, because we are connected there. Practically, we are at all the three levels connected in real time. But if we remain in that string of love, the rope of love everywhere, then we are connected. Because then this connection is on, and all that love is flowing But as soon as the mind and body takes over, then the astral mind and astral body, the karma vidhan, every action has got an equal and opposite reaction. So once we give our attention, now such a beautiful thing, please understand this. Once we give our attention to the mind, which is taking us into past and future, and all those karmas things, and makes us suffer like anything. Simply you got to de-link your attention from mind and you are a happy person. I gave you this example earlier also, that there was a man, he was crying all his night, his near and dear had died, So somebody told him that please go and take your bath in the room. We will take the body to cremation ground at such and such time. So in the meantime, you've been into the hospitals for all these days, so you better go and take your bath. After the bath, this gentleman came out, put on that television. He was watching some TV. In between, there was a humorous thing. There was a comedy, and his total attention went into that. And he was laughing inside the room and everybody could hear it. Now, as soon as his attention comes here on the dead person, he starts crying. Now you see, it has got a key. Key is that anything happening is all predestined, my dear. Now Guru has told you to de-link your attention from body and mind and link it to the source. You are out of your problems, my dear. He has given you a method that even if you were to be hanged, but then a small little prick will settle that thing, because you have not given your attention to that pain. You have just removed your attention to its source, which is love. And before love, all those other senses, lust, anger, ego, attachment, deceit, fears, and worries, disappear, my dear. It is certain. You just try this and see in your life. This is what you will find it happening here. So now the mind will keep on creating those doubts, as Ishwar Puriji been saying. So now this is what is something strange, because that makes mind, keeps on creating those doubts. So if you've got a full faith in your master, that he takes care of you, every time you will find it is happening. He's doing it. And he's all knowing, all pervading. So through intuitions, you got to tune yourself to receive those intuitions all the time. And if you are in love, I'm sure you will get those intuitions, because you don't want to get into those nitty-gritties of lust, anger, ego, attachment, deceit, etc. So now this anger and other things, they involve you. And simply Simran gives you that meaning. You can always keep yourself attached. I'm sorry, today I have taken so much of time. We are all seekers of love. I think I have done whatever little I could do. Michael, you can take over and explain things further. Let us listen to the master. I'm sorry I took a little extra time. I took extra time.
I enjoyed every second. It was a love talk.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chan. That was a treasure house. Thank you. I loved it. Okay, I'll play master now.
Please.
I'll play master now after 1 minute of meditation.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Way we are using it as attraction. We are being attracted. That's the crudest way in which the love can be experienced. As love becomes purer, we find it's not attractiveness, because in attractiveness, the duality of the one who is attracting us and ourselves remains. If you are attached to somebody, attracted to somebody, you feel there you are, and there's your object which you're attracted to, where you're attached to. All attachments always have the awareness of yourself, not necessarily real self, the ego part of yourself, the mental part of yourself. When people talk to each other, I love you, and you watch what happens. You are aware of I and you all the time. If the you says, I don't love you, I also say, then I also hate you. This is the kind of experiences we still call it love, because the attractiveness of being pulled is still there. But when there is true love, what happens, and we have true love experiences right here in the physical world. When we fall in love truly with somebody, we forget the I, and only the beloved who pulls us is in our mind. Therefore, the two disappear in true love. In attachments, both remain. That's a very big distinction between attachment and love. In love, we are pulled, and therefore, if love can pull us, there's no effort involved. To go beyond the mind, this is what happens. Love pulls us beyond the mind. Now, where does love come from? What is love? What's the nature of love? Where is it coming from? What this experience we are having of love, have we defined it properly? I see hundreds of definitions, mostly defining infatuation, defining attractiveness, defining attachment. Very few defining true love. A true love which can put your ego behind. I was once trying to study. Ego is such a powerful thing, the I-ness, I do this. Well, surrender, I surrender. I am nobody. I am the humblest of the humble. What a great ego. There is no way to control this ego. I comes all the time. Therefore, is there anything that actually happens in this world where for a moment we forget the I? It is falling in love. For some moment we forget the I. That is why love is a very powerful force. Where does it come from? What's the nature of love? I've seen the answer to this question written on boards everywhere. God is love. Well, if that is true, we are putting love at the highest level of creative power. If the creative power is love, and we are talking of our ultimate journey to the creative power, obviously the love is coming from there. Whose love is it that is pulling us inside? There's nobody inside except ourselves. Our own love pulls us. The love of our total self, the love of the totality of our own self, the love of the ultimate of ourself pulls us in the state in which we think we are the self. The love takes us beyond the mind, nothing else. But we have no idea. We are trying to find who we are. We are trying to find first outside who we are, then a little bit inside. We have no idea. All this trying to find is with the mind. Then how will love pull us? When we are seekers of the truth, seekers of the ultimate truth, seekers of our true self, seekers of God, seekers of the creative power, whatever name you give it, if we are seekers of that, we must have become seekers by some pre-arranged arrangement by which we could find what we are seeking. If we look at the history of our origin, in time and space, we are sitting now as human beings with a certain amount of life here. We might have had previous lives. When did we first come, leave our true home to get this experience? When we had total knowledge, total awareness, totality was there, and we were part of that, we were that itself. Then how could we come here and make no arrangement to be able to go back? And now we are finding out the method of going back was being pulled by love of the same totality that we were. We could not be that unintelligent not to make an arrangement. Yes, we made an arrangement. And we can only discover what arrangement we made when we go back and see, yes, this is what worked. When you go back, you'll find out what the arrangement was. The arrangement was when we are in these different levels of experiences and we are tired of these experiences. When we feel as the self, we have had enough of it, then we will discover ourselves. But we don't know how to discover ourselves. Therefore, our self will be represented by an outside experience because we are only looking outside. And the outside experience will be the starting point for our inside experience. What is the outside experience that corresponds to what we arrange? That is the appearance in our life of another human being. Because human beings can create and express that love. It happens to us all the time. But we mess it up without thinking too much. So therefore, a human being will appear in our life, prearranged by us. A human being will appear in our life who represents our own true self. It's our arrangement. A human being will appear in our life and give us the experience of true love. Not merely love, true love, totally unconditional love, with no judgment whatsoever, with no expectations at all. A love that we have not experienced ordinarily. Such a person will appear in our life. And that person will be an ordinary person, not extraordinary, ordinary person, but with an extraordinary love. Ordinary person with extraordinary qualities, which normally we don't find. Such a person is actually what we today call a perfect living master. A perfect living master is a representation in our physical world of our own true self. When we call a human being as a perfect living master, we are really making a little mistake because we are calling another person perfect living master. The perfect living master is our own true self. And the human being is merely a representation of that. How does he represent that? How can a human being represent our own true self? Because our own true self is one totality. It's not divided. And that human being who is appearing in our life is conscious, aware of that totality, which is our totality, that totality, same thing. Therefore, a perfect living master is not somebody who's come to teach us anything. He's not a very learned person. He represents our own true self. Arrangement made by our own self to go back to our true home. And when he appears, what does he say? Does he say, come, I'll teach you something? He says, go inside. But we say, we love you. You are outside. He says, go inside and find me inside. I am also inside. We say, but we fall in love with you outside. Go inside, you'll fall more in love with me. And when we follow his instructions, he is more inside than he was outside. More available to us inside than outside. And we fall in love with him inside even more than outside. Then what does he do? He continuously takes us as a companion, as a friend, through these different levels of realities, never leaving us. A great friendship. And that friendship ends up in the totality where we discover what we thought was another human being and nobody but our own self. That's the beauty of this experience. Ultimately, it's love starting from here, love inside, love at the causal plane, love that pulls us beyond. Love is the secret of spirituality. Therefore, I have said many times, the true spirituality is love and devotion. Now I added one more word. I was talking of love, now put devotion also into it. Why is that? Because devotion is a response to true love. When we experience true love, we become devotees by ourselves. It's not something that we have to do. The devotion comes automatically the more we experience pure love of a perfect living master. Perfect living masters are very rare because seekers of the truth are very rare. Billions of people living here, trillions of people living in other levels of realities. Masters are very few because seekers who want to go beyond the mind, very few. What do most people go to masters for? Master, I have a problem of sickness in my house. Master, I have lost my money. Master, all wanting aid in physical reality and solving physical problems. Very few say we want to go in and see what's going on. Those who want to go in only want to see whether heaven's there, whether good things inside. Still an experience of seeing things. I want to go and have a great flight in the causal plane. Nobody is saying I want to find who I am. I want to find my own reality. Those are rare. Masters are rare. But when you are a seeker of your own true reality, a perfect living master appears in your life. You can never find him. Why can't we find a perfect living master? If a master is meant for us, we should be able to find one. We can't find a perfect living master because he does not come to spread any message for the world. He does not come to reform society. He does not come to make our life better here. He does not come for any of these purposes of the temporal nature or astral nature or causal nature. He comes merely to take us back home as arranged by ourselves at the inception of this whole experience. That is why he does not come dressed up like a teacher, dressed up like somebody who's going to give you something, comes as a friend. The relationship with a perfect living master is a relationship of a friend with true love, pure love. That's how it works. That is why these masters are rare, and we are also rare people who are seeking that ultimate. Many of us might have had many experiences of other realities in past lives. Many of us have had experiences in this life itself. We are not satisfied. Therefore, perfect living masters appear in our life when we are ready to go beyond what we have got. If we have got something, not satisfied, we go beyond. What happens in the meantime? Meantime, we can meet many masters. Our whole concept of reality, of God, of ourselves, is so different from what you experience at the end. It's so different. We are separating ourselves. When people worship God, I see many people worshipping God looking upward. Almost give the impression God lives in the skies or somewhere. God lives inside. All religions say that. Kingdom of God is within you. Everything is within you. Why are we looking up in the sky? Who are we praying to? Who are we worshipping? Our whole concept is, one day I will meet God. Do you know, if you go to totality, there's only one. There's no one to meet. You, your true self, and the creative power is identical, because there cannot be two there. You cannot see God. You can be God. You can realize you are the same power at all times. And it's your manifestation that's created a worshipper and a separate one the mind creates as a God. The soul has never decided to create any God. Mind creates the God. Why is that? Because the mind is the only machine we are using to divide, to separate. Soul does not. We do not. Our self does not. Self combines. Self wants totality. Self wants union. Self wants to be together. Self wants to destroy separation. Mind wants to separate. Mind wants to analyze, not synthesize. It's exact two different functions. That is why we are using the mind to divide ourselves, using the mind even to divide God into different religions. I love my God, not yours. Everybody talking of different God. When I was studying economics, public administration, business at Harvard University, I decided on the side, because a big library, Widener library was there, I decided to study comparative religion. So I could see there must be a lot of common things in all religions. 11 religions I studied, and was fascinated by studying how their belief systems are, how their rituals are, how their ceremonies are, how they're supposed to be expressing their knowledge outside in the physical world. But they were all different. There was nothing common. Only common thing I found in those 11 religions was ours was the only real one, all others are fake. Every one of them said the same thing. What a division. It was obvious to me religion has gone way beyond, further down from spirituality. Spirituality says there is one. The founders of religion say there is one. And we practicing religion say there are many. Why, I found that I met a man, he said, I am preparing a Bible composed from 14 Bibles. I said, 14 Bibles? Oh yes, there are different versions of the Bible. Then I began to study history of the Bible. When I studied history of the Bible, it was eye-opening. That the Bible has been revised so many times. Ecumenical councils have come and said, throw away this gospel, put in this gospel. 700 years ago. And throughout history. And I discovered the first time it was written by the scribes. There were no printing presses or something, no telephone, no computers. The scribes would write differently. Then they had to get together. They had written different things. Then somebody else would come and tell them how to combine and say, this is the correct way. And when did it happen? More than 100 years after Jesus Christ had already passed. And today we are calling it the Word of God. Have we known that? Do we know in the United States of America, I pick up a Bible, 14th version approved by King James of England. He approved a separate Bible. And that we think is the Word of God today. And I meet my friends who believe in Jesus Christ. I say, well, let's go to church. No, that's not my church. That's Methodist. That's Baptist. What are we talking about? What have we done to the message of God? What have we done to spirituality? Religion was supposed to be helping us. All that now we talk of is the rituals, the ceremonies we have to do are separate, and there are the religion. That's the work of God. We've forgotten altogether that God is the same. He's inside all of us. And no matter how many names you give to it, it remains the same. And this is a big division. Who does the division? Not the soul, not the self, or mind. Why did this happen? Because the mind was designed to do this. The whole idea of creation was to create the many out of the one. That's why we are so many. So many sitting here. Can we believe we are all one? We try to say we are one. We are one, but that part I don't like. I hate that one, but otherwise we are one. This is our whole concept of the oneness. We have not experienced oneness because we have used the mind as a constructive thing for dividing, as a constructive machine to generate huge populations, generate differences, analyze, separate. When we use the mind today, we use it for analysis. You want to study something, the easiest way for the mind to study is break it into pieces and analyze what it is, not put it together. Putting it together is done by intuition, separation is done by the mind. These two functions are in us. Intuition, even today, looks at a picture, whole picture. The mind looks at separate pieces. I gave an example. I look at these beautiful flowers. It takes 1 second to see the beauty of the flowers. If I want to see from the mind, how is it beautiful? Oh, I start seeing each piece separately. That's how they function. The two function differently. The soul and mind function differently. That is why soul is expressing itself right here. How? Experience of love, experience of intuition, experience of appreciation of beauty, experience of bliss, experience of being somewhere where we are not. All those experiences the mind cannot create. Soul can, it is creating right here, right inside, right in the causal plane, right in spirituality. So that is why we have to understand the distinction between the mind and the soul. The mind is not the soul. The mind is not ourself. Mind is merely something that we are using for constructing a wonderful, vast experience. Enjoy the show. We created it for enjoying it. Why did we come here? If we were so happy in our true home, some people ask this question. If we were so happy there, why are we here today? We were very happy. We wanted to appreciate the happiness more by a very wonderful system called experience of unhappiness. It's a wonderful way. Because we realized consciousness operates in a way where we get an experience more clearly if there's an opposite of that. Supposing there is no opposite, the experience disappears. It's very strange. If you look at this, supposing there was no darkness, for example. Let's say there was always light in this world. A set amount of light, you didn't need any of these bulbs or anything, or any other electric power. There was light all the time here. We would never see that light. You won't even know it exists. Because there is darkness, now we know what is light. Everything you see, people who have never seen poverty have never been able to appreciate their riches. I see them all the time. People who haven't seen pain do not value the pleasure as much. Everything that we are experiencing in this world is in pairs of opposites. That is why the duality has been created. With me, please close your eyes. Sit upright on your chairs or on the floor, wherever you are sitting. Upright because the house should not tilt around. It's your house now. Do not